Amal is 28 years old and a mother of 3. She and around 35,000 other refugees escaped violence in Sudan's Blue Nile state by crossing the border into South Sudan in May and June. On June 12th, Amal was brought to MSF's mobile clinic at a refugee transit site called Kilometer 18 in Upper Nile State. She was thin, weak, and coughing, and she could barely walk. Amal was immediately examined. An IV drip was inserted into her arm, and she was transferred to MSF's hospital in the Jamam refugee camp. MSF health staff suspect that she has tuberculosis and will start her on TB treatment soon. Amal weighs just 32 kilograms, or 80 pounds, and she is too weak to speak. So her cousin Hassan told her story on her behalf.
Where we are from, there is only war. In early September, aerial bombardments and shelling of our village began in the morning while it was still dark. People ran and hid in the woods. The shelling continued for the next few days. It set fire to homes and other buildings in the village. One child was killed when he went to hide in a tree. Family members scattered. One of our cousins went missing. But luckily, we found each other after we crossed the border. Her brother also went missing, and we haven't heard from him. We would often leave the village and hide in the woods for 4 or 5 days at a time. But in November, we left for good. Many people died along the way. Many of those who could not work had to be left by their families. Newborn babies died of exposure, and old people gave in to hunger, dehydration, and exhaustion, and illness. 2 of our young cousins died of diarrhea after crossing the border into South Sudan. She started feeling ill around the time the attack started in September. But the coughing and weakness did not come serious until 5 months ago. When she grew too weak to walk, her father carried her on his back, including the 15-day trek to El Fuj, the border crossing point. We carried some food, but for 4 days we ate only the wild fruits we call lalop. Sometimes we went the entire day without water, and when we arrived in the village in the evening, we would have to wait in a long line at the borehole to fill the jerrycan. For 3 days, we had no access to water, so we drank very carefully from the jerrycan we had filled before leaving. She lost much of her appetite over the past few months. She would take only 2 bites at meals. Sometimes she would cough until she vomited. The last 25 days of the journey, she had diarrhea. She has not seen her children since she was admitted to hospital, but her priority now is getting better.